Okay.
We thought you did for a long time. I did too, but then I actually Googled it. Like, oh, you don't. You can just enable this thing.
About to unmute sound, so.
Oh boy.
Okay, you guys are officially live. Countdown when you guys are ready.
All right, so I guess Liam and I should leave the call.
Or stay until airplane's over. It's probably a better bet.
Why?
I don't know.
Actually, you guys should just stay in the call because, or at least Liam needs to stay in the call because all audio is coming from you guys.
Oh, Liam should just. Wait, no, that's bad because then Mylan's going to be heard over Liam's stream. Oh, that's how it goes, right? Okay.
All audio. Okay. Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
so I can just do the same thing, just mute myself?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I forgot to send you the...
Yeah, I would appreciate that.
Bad. My fault.
I don't hear us on the
okay.
stream. Oh, yeah, I was behind. Oh, that's how it goes, right? Okay. All audio. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, it's still showing.
Oh, boy.
Just making sure.
Wait, Liam, what size window are you playing at? It's something small. That's tiny. I mean, it's better for any percent. Yeah, but that's the one we're doing.
Okay, thank you.
I like 800 by 600 personally. But what other reses are there?
All right. So I'm going to mute and just give me a countdown when you guys are ready.
All right. Wait, okay. Can I just take like 1 second to figure out which cutscene the airplane cutscene is?
Okay. The fourth one. It's the fourth one.
That's 1, 2, 3. Okay, I figured it out. Let me restart my game.
Are you going to start time at the usual spot, or should we wait till after airplane? At the usual spot.
Doesn't matter. It's not going to be legit either way.
Yeah. It's still legit, but you're just not breaking any records.
Yeah. I might PB. Oh, wait, no.
Okay. Yeah.
Shit.
So
I fucked it up. Hold on, let me just do it again.
Skipping cutscenes is a glitch, sure. Yeah, so
I accidentally hit my volume button because I'm stupid. Wait, you're not using my audio at all, right?
No, I'm just taking Liam's audio.
Just using Liam. Okay, so I can do this then, so I can hear you guys. All right.
Okay, so we're gonna have him start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so this is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, specifically the PC version. This game was released on a few different consoles, and every console that it was released on got its own version. It's a completely different game. So if you played it on PS1, it's going to be very different from PC. If you played it on GBA or Game Boy Color, it's all going to be different. Here we get the beautiful aeroplane cutscene. Just one of the more ridiculous little spots at the beginning of the run. Yeah, they decided they wanted to show this off. But yeah, normally we start our timer on the first cutscene skip of the game. We have an auto splitter that does that for us. And yeah, they're just getting off into the game. So Glitchless. If you've seen any HP2 speedruns from a couple years ago, this is going to look very similar. Most of the glitches were found quite recently. Right now, first thing, they're going to go for a pretty difficult trick. It's called Willow Jump. And it looks like, I don't know who's on which side. Looks like Liam misses it, Ted's going to line up for it, and he misses it too. So if you jump in a very specific way, you can wrap around that corner and land on the branch, which gets you kind of like out of bounds. And it lets us skip this area a lot quicker. Instead, they've got to go through this passageway, and yeah. That'll get them through Willow and get them started into the rest of the game. Yeah, so Glitchless is a pretty recent category. We added it about a year ago. As I said, in 2016, the first couple of major glitches, we started to find them. Ways to skip spell challenges or ways to fly through the air in ridiculous fashion. So anything before like SGDQ 2016, if you'd seen runs from then, I think there was an ESA run in 2014 of HB2. If you know what the game was like back then, that's more or less what the game's going to be like here. Yeah, we've got the two going into the castle. They're going to go to the first spell challenge. This is probably a good time to start explaining this. So this game has two main spots of RNG in the run. And outside of that, there's not much. But one of them is important right at the beginning of the run. So when you beat a spell challenge, they're going to tell you to go to the Bean bonus room with the house point ceremony to try to get into the Bean bonus room. And if you have the most house points out of any team, it'll put you into the Bean bonus room. Okay, Liam's going for this, and he misses it. Okay. I'm gonna explain that later in the run, what he just tried to go for. Yeah, so Bean bonus room. If you have the most house points out of any house, you will go into the Bean bonus room. And the game forces you to enter the Bean bonus room on the first pass through. It'll actually add house points until you have more than the other team or than the other houses. So yeah, they're gonna try to go for that. Or no, they're not gonna try to go for that. They're gonna try to avoid that. So the problem is when you enter the Bean bonus room, depending on how many points you have over the second place house, which is always Slytherin for this case, it changes the amount of time you spend in the Bean bonus room. If you're within 5 points, you'll spend 5 seconds. If you're within 10 points, you'll spend 15. And it just goes up from there. Yeah, so they want to get as few house points as they possibly can to spend as little time in the Bean bonus room as possible. Unfortunately, Slytherin's house points are random, so you can't really control. They can get anywhere between 40 and 80 house points, and it tends to lean towards the 40 side more than the 80 side. It's not quite linear. And if these runners do everything correctly in Rictus Semper, they should be ending with about 81 house points. So Slytherin they have to get pretty good luck with Slytherin in order to get best RNG. 78, okay. 81's probably any percent instead. So they're currently failing arrow keys, because if you pass these arrow keys, it would give you 30 extra house points, which equates to an extra 30 seconds in the Bean bonus room, which, yeah, that's time loss that is very easily avoided. I should mention, failing arrow keys is slower when you only look at whether you're passing them or not, if you don't count in the house points it gives you. So in some other categories, the runners will pass the arrow keys when they don't have to worry so much about house point RNG, but here they definitely need to fail them. That's kind of a lot of time for a fairly short game to be losing. Okay, and we're into Rictus Semper. This is something that Tedder just did, and that Liam's going to be doing in a second. Something we're going to abuse quite a bit. If you are on a platform that is moving and you jump, it'll add the velocity momentum of the platform to your jump. So you can get faster jumps, you can get higher jumps, and there's a couple of spots where that's really useful and can save a lot of time. So they do it right there, it just saves a second or two, but if you saw, Liam went for a moving platform boost off of a banister to try to get around a cutscene. He didn't make it, but we'll see that same strategy in about 20 minutes. They'll be going for a much more consistent version of that to save quite a bit of time. Right now, Ted's going for pretty old strat. If you jump, tap back, and then tap forward, you can grab onto that ledge that's directly above your head, and it lets you skip moving these crabs. You'd have to normally put them into a hole and have the platforms come down so you can climb up, and yeah, it just takes a long time. But they can skip that by just doing a precise jump. Yeah. These switches that Liam's casting on have a... Yeah, the kick is the name of that jump, named after an old runner, Kickinson. These switches that Liam was just casting at have a cooldown. There's only so fast you can hit them. Sometimes you'll see people like hit one too soon and it just won't register. It's annoying. Getting a tiny boost off of the turning door before going for gorge skip, gorge jump, something like that. Every time I say the name of that trick, Liam yells at me for getting it wrong. Yeah, and this brings us pretty much to the end of Rictus-Empra. Ted's just got one more room after this, which can have some annoying things go on. Let's see if any of that happens. So this room has 5 fire crabs in them. That's these weird turtle things. Nobody really knows why they call them fire crabs, but he has to knock 4 of them into this pit. There's 4 of them on this spiral staircase thing. If you hit them in the wrong way, they can get caught between the wall of the spiral and these vertical pillars. And if that happens, they'll just completely miss the pit, which can lose a lot of time. You can push in the one on the bottom of the room, but that obviously loses just a bit of time because you have to go out of your way to get it. These guys know what they're doing, so hopefully they won't have that. Yeah, they didn't have it. I'm looking at the stream in 2 different spots at once and confusing myself. Okay, so Ted is going in the bean bonus room, and he is going to spend... He got 67 house points on Sliver. That means he got 3rd best RNG. He's going to spend 20 seconds in the bean bonus room. There's no way for him to get out faster. He just has to sit here for 20 seconds. I didn't see what Liam got. Looks like he got even worse. So yeah, that's going to be 58. Yeah, so that's, what, 35 seconds? Something like that. It's kind of a lot of time. Yeah, they can collect beans here, but it doesn't really help much. Sometimes these chests can spit out chocolate frogs. Looks like Liam's gonna go for that. Doesn't get one out of the first one. Doesn't get to the second one. Yeah. Bean bonus room. That is the only time you'll be seeing that in this run. There are other bean bonus rooms for other challenges, but we have ways. They only force us to get the first bean bonus room if we get less house points later on. They're just through the natural course of the game. We won't be collecting quite as many house points as in Rictus-Empra, and they won't force us to go into bean bonus room, so we will not be entering anymore unless they do something catastrophically wrong. Yeah, they've got Quidditch. In this category, this is the only time they'll be playing Quidditch. If this were an 80% run, you'd see about 4 more matches of this. But it's very straightforward. They're basically just trying to not get hit. There's a couple of little spots where either a bludger or the enemy, the other seeker, can hit you, and it costs about 10 seconds if you get hit. Looks like Liam got hit once. I didn't see what Tedder got. Yeah, it's a 5 to 10 second time loss. If that happens, it's nothing, not quite as much of a concern as house point RNG, but it's still something. Right here, Tedder's gonna, after casting on this chest, you have to wait about 2 or 3 seconds before running up to this cauldron. If you touch the cauldron before Snape starts talking, Snape will interrupt his own cutscene, and it will cause a soft lock. And there's a couple of other spots in this game where that can happen. Hopefully we don't see that happen to either of the runners. It's, obviously quite a large time lost to solve. This game saves pretty frequently, but having to quit and reload is never a good thing. Ted right there making some good use of moving platform boosts to save time on these staircases. Liam going for it now. Looks like he gets both of them. Okay, yeah, so here we have the second big potential, the second big spot of RNG in this run. So on this spell learning session in particular, more than any of the other ones, there's a chance that the game will just randomly add in an input when you are trying to do the spell buttons things. And yeah, it'll just give you a wrong button at a random time. We call them fake inputs. And you'll basically see them press the button and then a red X just suddenly appears on the next key as if they hit the wrong button. And it costs about 20 seconds in the spell challenge. It's the only one where it's really much of a concern. You can get fake inputs on Rick December spell learning, but because we fail the spell learning anyways, it doesn't really cost any time. And then it's just, for some reason, much rarer to happen on Defendo or Spongify. Let's see. Looks like nothing so far.
Well done, Harry. You've advanced to the next level of the lesson. 10 points to Gryffindor. Round 3.
Ted makes it through unscathed. Hopefully same for Liam. Okay, so now Ted is entering Scourge. If this were an any % run and we were allowed to glitch, we could skip this entire area with basically a single jump. But that makes for a pretty boring run. Pretty boring marathon run. So we're going to go with a longer route instead, making use of a moving platform boost here to save a bit of time. Looks like Liam didn't get any fake inputs either. No RNG loss for them in this spot, at least. Oh yeah, so here we've got a Peeves fight, the only one that we'll be experiencing this game. On TEDder's screen, Liam will be up to it in a second. Pretty easy. Well, it's fairly deceptive. The first battle. Oh, what am I trying to say? Okay, the Peeves fights are pretty easy to beat, but trying to beat them faster can be a little more difficult. Just getting all of these shots, aiming up and down and following his pattern. Also, for whatever reason, the game developers didn't put the in-game audio and effects sliders for volume. They didn't include Peeves on those, so a lot of people will turn down those sliders expecting it to turn down the game volume just to find that Peeves is incredibly loud. Yeah. Little 20 or so second time save for TEDder here. If you stand on the edge of this little scale, you can prevent it from going down. It usually falls down whatever side has more weight. You'll see Liam get this right here. He's going to stand in a way to make it level, and then walk on the right side, avoiding the trigger to make that side fall down. And that saves going up a staircase and pushing a block. It's about a 20-second time save. Maybe a little more. Just a little rusty on glitchless knowledge. Yeah, so As we see, they enter the house point ceremony, but by this point, Slytherin just has so many house points that we can't beat them anymore. They run away with it. We don't have to enter the house point ceremony or the beam bonus room. If you were to collect a very large number of challenge stars, you could potentially have more house points than Slytherin, but you'd probably just have to go out of your way to get that many. So, not a concern at this point of the run. Here we have a Bicorn Horn segment, Dungeon Quest, the game calls it. First half is pretty standard, just kind of knocking things into pits. Let's see if Ted goes for this. He does. Okay, there is a way, if you time it right, to bounce these fire crabs off of the falling door as it opens, and if you time it correctly, you can get them to slide backwards and shoot themselves straight into the little hidey holes. It's very precise. Yeah. Here we've got the first pretty significant sequence break of this area. We have this large maze, but if we just hit the right combination and then fall down in the right spot, we can skip a bit of time. Not much of a sequence break. I'm over exaggerating. Liam going for a slightly different strat on that. You can hit those switches from the bottom, just they're close enough. This section that Ted's going through right now is fairly lengthy. You'd usually have to wait for these platforms to turn after casting Scourge on those gears, but with some somewhat precise movement, we can make it through. That last jump that Ted failed and Liam just failed as well is actually much more precise than it looks. In order to get it, you have to spam spellcast in midair. That normally when you jump, the game reduces your horizontal speed by just a little, by about 5 units. But if you spam spellcast, you can bring it back up to normal walking speed, which is just barely enough to make a couple of extra gaps. And that helps them out with that one particular jump. It looks like it is more, much more precise than it looks.
I'm in the potions classroom. Better keep an eye out for Snape.
Next section we have coming up is dueling. This is a single dueling match, the only one we'll see in the entire game. But even here we've got little interesting optimizations. These runners may be going for slightly different strategies. Let's see what they do. So both of them are going for the same, probably going for the same one. So basically, if you release a cast, what am I trying to say? If you normally just spam random casts, Malfoy will reflect them back at you using Rictusempra, but you can, if you cast at him right as he stops moving, you can keep him from hitting it back. Yes, this is the PC version. Not the PS1 or PS2 versions. Those games play out very, very differently. Now, entering Defendo. This segment is fairly easy. There's not much to it other than a single cycle that they have to make. And because of the cycle, any small, minor errors in the early part of the challenge are kind of going to get negated because they have to wait for the cycle
In
anyway.
each part, you must be accurate in order to progress. Ready to try? Round 1, go.
One thing I should mention with this being the PC version,
5 points to Gryffindor.
despite them all being Harry Potter games, the console runners and PC runners tend to stay somewhat separate. There are members who are in both communities, but we generally hold we have separate discords, a lot of that kind of stuff.
Round 3, go.
There isn't a ton of crossover between the two. They are games that play out very differently. Their speedrun is very different.
Well done. You've completed
Yeah,
all of the
defend arrow
exercises in
keys. It is possible to get fake inputs here.
15
It's
points to Gryffindor.
Rare, doesn't lose quite as much time. It's just a smaller symbol, so doesn't lose as much time if you get one. So both of these runners hitting that pot, when you're at low health, there are certain pots that can randomly spawn chocolate frogs, which give you health boosts. And health does become quite important at later points in this run. So Ted just grabbed a chocolate frog there. I imagine Liam might grab it too. The game gives us a single potion. We make it pretty early on. And that potion will fully heal your health. However, there's a spot at the end of the game where it's pretty easy to take damage, and these runners might be trying to damage boost. So having as much health as we can going into that is going to be useful. Again, more moving platform boosts. And we get another one here. Just getting us into a better position where we can hit this rope. The game wants you to climb up a side well and cast on that rope from the top, but if we aim in the right spot, we can just barely make it. Both of them grabbing the same chocolate frog again. Yeah, coming up right at the end of this area, they'll come into contact with venomous tentaculas, which are mostly stationary enemies, but if they bite you, they can take a lot of health. And as I mentioned, you really want that health for the end of the game. It allows you to save a lot more time if you can not have to worry about losing health. Yeah, so unlike the any percent version of this game, something I probably should have mentioned like half an hour ago. The PC versions of these, the any percent version, any percent categories for the PC games tend to be a lot more focused on executing difficult glitches and all that kind of stuff, frame perfect tricks. Glitchless is much more so about just movement being consistent. This room that Ted just finished was the cycle. These snails will dash towards you wherever you're standing. And yeah, you can get them to land on the switches instead of pushing them. Or instead of having to push them quite so far. if it had been asked 6 months ago, that probably would be yes. HP2 90% used to be actually a really interesting category in a lot of the same way, in some different ways, but all the same as Glitchless. But it's getting to be a lot of the same thing over and over again. Glitchless is currently one of the fastest growing categories in Harry Potter speedrunning, and for good reason. It's difficult. It has a lot of finer movement tech and stuff like that that any percent just doesn't quite have. This is probably one of the best categories this game has. I know Liam would put out.
Oi, Harry,
He would
wants a trade?
definitely make a big argument for 100%. So you're saying there's a chance? Yeah, there's some pretty crazy stuff in these games that you can do if you're allowed to use glitches. Doesn't really save HP2 from its fate. It makes HP1 really interesting though. Here they're going through Boomslang, the greenhouse. Ted right here is grabbing the mushroom. He's gonna grab onto the sledge to drop the mushroom. He can jump off the mushroom and jump up onto the sledge. That saves a pretty decent bit of time having to go around this pretty large section. Liam here is going to try now to do something a little extra. If you stand, or if you take damage while holding a mushroom, you'll drop it wherever you are. So he's going to try to stack the mushrooms on top of each other to create a pillar that he can jump up on top of. Unfortunately, if you do get too close, as you can see there, you'll grab the mushroom out of the stack. But that lets him skip this section that Ted's going through right there. Discord for the PlayStation runners. There is a Discord that is for all of the console speedrunners in particular. I don't have it on me right now. There's a number of Harry Potter speedrunners in the chat that could probably help me out with that. Yeah, there is a separate Discord for the PC runners, one for the console runners, and one for the handheld runners. Just to help keep things a little more organized. Okay, right now, these two are going to one of probably the biggest barriers of entry for this game for new runners, and that's Dumbledore Skip. So right there you see Liam did a moving platform boost to jump past and around Nick as he's on the ground dying again. And that lets us skip a cutscene trigger, but as you've probably noticed, most of the cutscenes in this game are skipped. These cutscenes are not. The Dumbledore cutscenes, it's 4 or 5 cutscenes in a row. None of them are skippable, and it's about 3 minutes in total. It is quite easily the biggest time save in this entire game. And it's not totally obvious how it should be done. A lot of newer runners will have quite a bit of difficulty getting this, even just the first time. One of, I would say, the 2 most difficult tricks in this game. The other one they'll be coming up to in a couple of minutes, right after they get through this section. The room that Liam just jumped down through, it's actually impossible to take fall damage in that room for some reason. Just the way that they programmed it. Ted missing a jump, taking a nasty fall. Oh no. Yeah, just a little too close, bumped against these pillars, which unfortunately cancels most of your speed. or at least redirects it. There's a spot they can actually use that to save time later on, much later in the run. But here, doesn't help much. There we go. So that does give Liam a fairly sizable lead. Most of the places for big time swings have passed. This run isn't out of reach. This race isn't out of reach for him. But yeah, he's got to play pretty well at this point if he wants to come back to win this run, and ideally he has to hope that Liam's going to make a couple of mistakes, which in a marathon race setting is something that's fairly reasonable. Yeah, so Liam's just finishing up this area, and then we'll get on to Slytherin. We have to trek down to the Slytherin common room to figure out if Malfoy's the heir of Slytherin or not. It's mostly just some cutscenes, but there is a pretty difficult jump that they're going to have to make in this. We also get some of, in my opinion, some of the best music in the game. Playing as Goyle is pretty interesting. Yeah, okay, so what I'm assuming Liam's gonna go for. So we need to get down to the dungeons, so we have to go down the grand staircase. But using the staircases is slow because they don't move very fast. So he's just gonna jump straight off and land on this lamp. He's gonna take a bit of damage in doing so, but if he were to land on the wing platform, probably just straight up kill him. Yeah, quality voice acting. So I did mention that most of the cutscenes in this game are skippable. There's a couple that aren't. Liam's about to run into, I believe, 2 of them right now. They're very short. But in most of these cases, yeah. Just something very small and minor. Very annoying for runners that are used to skipping cutscenes for the entire game, but yeah, if you jump into that cutscene, as you can see, Goyle kind of freaks out. Ted missing the banister jump, taking some fall damage. This is what Harry thinks heavier people sound like. One thing I should mention, the potion that we collected at the beginning of the game does fully heal you. However, it will not fully heal you if you take... It'll fully heal you, and it will do it automatically if you take enough damage, but it will not allow you to survive fall damage. So if these runners had not collected health at the beginning of the game, they would have to... Or health earlier on, they would have to just skip that jump down. Well, missed the chance to talk about that. I'll talk about it when Ted gets to it. Yeah, Liam's already pretty much done with Slytherin. It's a pretty short segment once you get into it. Most of the split is just kind of running around. And Ted's going to be at it in a couple of seconds. Okay, so right here we've got, in my opinion, probably the second hardest trick in this game. At least for people just starting out, probably the hardest for older runners, this is Slytherin Bridge Skip. It's actually quite precise. But by jumping and mashing spellcast, we can get that extra jump speed, which gives us just barely enough time to make it over the bridge before it puts us into the void. Ted having a bit of difficulty with that. It's definitely not the easiest thing in this game. Yeah, as I was saying, that along with Dumbledore Skip are probably the two tricks that people have the most difficulty with when they first start playing the game. There's optimizations with that, or things you have to do in order to get that trick that aren't completely obvious when you first attempt them.
The wand that appears in front of you is going to move around.
Yeah, that too.
When the wand is positioned perfectly over the arrow, press the
when we get to
corresponding
that,
arrow key to hit the target. There are 3 parts to this exercise.
Ted's
In
not
each
doing the
part,
section
you
I had the
must
most trouble with
correctly
playing
and
this game
accurately
casually,
hit
and
all
it
the points
is
in order to
unbelievably
go forward.
easy when you try to
Round
speedrun
1,
it.
begin.
You just kind of run. If any of these guys catch you, you have to just do the escape sequence again, which pretty much only happens in 100% runs. That can sometimes be a danger. These guys are somewhat randomly placed,
Well done, Harry. You've advanced to the next round.
and sometimes they can just spawn right in front of you
Round 2,
when you're turning a corner or something. Liam's on the last arrow key challenge. This is the last spot we can get a fake imp. It is incredibly rare to get one of these. Probably a single-digit number of times any runner has ever
10
gotten.
points to Gryffindor. Round 3, begin.
It does lose quite a bit of time to get one here too, but chances are you'll all just be looking at me like I'm crazy. What are you talking about, fake imps? Yeah.
Great work,
Then we move on
lad.
to
You've completed
Spongify,
all of the exercises.
which has
15 points to Gryffindor.
4 total? 4 total. Probably something like that. Yeah, Spongify. This is where we get to really... This is where Glitchless really gets to shine, in my opinion. These Spongify tiles, they put you in the air, and they give you a rough direction of where they want you to go, but you don't really have to listen. If it tries to push you left, you can make it go right. Liam's walking around a little cutscene trigger there, which is going to keep this platform you just jumped on from moving up, which is going to save Pragus a bit of time. He's going to jump on this bottle to jump over a cutscene trigger that would spawn some crabs. Just saves a little bit of time to get through all of that. If you walk backwards into that cutscene trigger after hitting the switch on the top, unfortunately, you can soft lock the game. That's one of the couple of spots that'll happen. I'm going for a pretty new strat. Most runners in the past have gone up to where that block is and done a moving platform boost off the top. He's instead electing to cast at it from the bottom and doing moving platform boosts from there. Because I decided to talk about that, I can't talk about what I think is the most interesting trick in this section. We'll see Ted get it in a couple of, about a minute or so. Not that long, but yeah.
Would you be interested in trading?
Yeah, if Ted were to walk, looks like Ted didn't quite make it over the cutscene trigger. Yeah, he landed on it, which caused those crabs to spawn on the bottom. As I was saying, if you jump over that cutscene trigger, cast on the switch at the top, and then walk back at the right time, you'll get both cutscenes to load at the same time, which causes a software. not something that's seen terribly often, but something that can happen. Ted right here going through for what the usual strat for this room is. You can do a moving platform boost off that to get over here, and then we're going to jump on that Spongify tile and go in the wrong direction, which skips a pretty hefty section of Spongify. It changes it from being one of the longest sections to being one of the shorter spell challenges, just because we get to skip a good minute and a half of it.
It's all over.
Something strange that we discovered a couple of months ago. As you go through Spongify, you keep going through the same room over and over again. This center with all the Spongify tiles going across. And if you get to the top and fall down, it's impossible to get back up without using that strat. That strat is the only other option would be to quit and reload, or to die and restart. Oh yeah, Liam, this cutscene is pretty great. Again, one of the few unskippable cutscenes, but this one we get to stand around in some interesting spots. We get to walk around during it. So a lot of runners will try to get in strange or weird positions. Yeah. MV Hagrid is what we typically call this cutscene. Almost looks as good as Sorcerer's Stone PS1 Hagrid. That's a pretty good sight. We've got Liam in Forest. There's not much in the Forest. A lot of it is just trying to not take damage. This Tentacular here, as I said earlier, they deal a lot of damage. Most of this is just kind of getting ready for the last section of the game, which is considerably more difficult than Forest, but yeah, at the end of this they are going to be coming up to Aragog, the first of 2 boss fights in this game, if you're not counting Peeves. Yeah, up until then, there's really not much going on. Collect some health so that you can get a better final boss fight. And then, yeah. Not much to say here. Now one thing I should mention, yeah, raise your volumes. The Aragog is pretty quiet in this game. He makes some really great sounds, so something you're definitely going to want to hear. So, yeah, turn up those volumes. Isn't it wonderful? Yeah, so as I said, I don't know if anyone can even hear what I'm saying at this point. Yeah, probably can. So Peeves and Aragog are both on a separate volume slider from the rest of the game. So if you turn down your regular game, Ted just got something really interesting there. I want to mention that. So I'll come back to that. Oh dear. Yeah, so Aragog and Peeves are on a different volume slider. If you turn down the regular game volume, it doesn't turn down their volume, so they just end up seeming extremely loud. So Ted, you'll see he like kind of skipped a ledge grab there. What I'm pretty sure that was. So in this game, when being from early Unreal Engine, anytime that the engine flushes itself and reloads, which happens just randomly going through stages, if you're climbing a ledge, it extends the ledge grab. So normally when you're climbing a ledge, it has you pulling yourself up, but if the game decides to flush, if the engine flushes at that moment, it'll give you a little boost. It'll push you up more than the ledge grab normally should. Which in at 8% or in categories that aren't glitchless, you can make you can abuse quite drastically. It wasn't a boost, it was just a ledge grab? Okay, so I'm crazy. I wasn't sure. I thought it was a boost. I saw it twice and still thought it was a boost. Yeah, okay. Well, never mind that. Yeah, Liam, you can... Oh, he's going for this. And he missed it. Okay. With a very precise jump, you can skip a section up above this. It only saves a couple of seconds. But we can skip casting. I should explain this. This is probably one of the other hardest tricks in the game. This is Pixie Proxy. It's going to be pretty fast. Basically, we're going to use a Spongify tile to give us a lot of speed. And then that Spongify speed, we're going to ram it into a Pixie. So Harry's flying into a Pixie at a very high speed. The Pixie, we've disabled its hurt box because we've hit it once, and it's just kind of sitting there. And instead, it causes us to bounce off of the Pixie. And in doing that, puts us in a much more desirable location, skipping the rest of the room. There are other strategies you can use in that room that still save a pretty decent bit of time, but yeah, that's definitely one of the fastest and probably one of the most impressive tricks in this entire game. Ted's gonna go for it here. Let's see. So yeah, stun the Pixie, and then jump on the Spongify tile so that you bounce off of the Pixie. I'll have to explain what Liam just did. Ted gets there as well. And he's going to go for a different strategy. Yeah, so Ted showing off one of the good backups for that room. You can land in that corner. Or land in that little nook and jump down. Okay, what was I trying to say before I started talking about Pixie Proxy? Probably nothing. Liam's about to get to the final boss. And I also want to talk about the thing that Tedder's about to do. So I have to do both these at the same time. Okay. No, did Ted already pass it? No, he didn't. That was crazy. Okay. Liam's entering the final boss. Stops for just a second, so that it only takes one piece of damage instead of 3. The first cycle of this boss is pretty easy. We can get him into a stun lock just by casting at a specific time. Pretty much looking for when the basilisk starts to close its mouth is when you want to take your shot at him. This fight part is pretty self-explanatory. Ted here, this floor has the tendency to fall over, or it falls over when you walk past it, but there's just this tiny little lip of the ledge that you can stand on if you position yourself in a pretty specific way. Liam's on the second half of the basilisk fight, which is a lot more difficult. Looks like he was going for 2 cycle. Okay, I'll have to explain this more when Ted gets to it. Yeah. Liam trapping himself in a 4 cycle by going for a 2 cycle. Kind of has to do that. Liam's time is going to be right in a second. When he enters this next loading zone, that'll be his final time. Ted's got probably another 1.5 to 2 minutes. So that's time for Liam.
Students, attention. The headmaster wants to address.
Looks like it's 51-51 for Liam.
It isn't too
Okay.
late to lose house points, you know. This
And then just waiting for Ted to get through the final boss. So,
school year to an end, and an eventful year it
as I was saying,
was.
this first part of Basilisk is pretty easy. You do full charges and then cast Ryze's Closing His Mouth, and that gives you a stun lock. Something that Liam went for is when the Basilisk spews out this venom, if you hit the venom right after you release a cast, or if you just take damage in some way, you'll be able to cast another spell immediately instead of having to charge it up, which can save a pretty decent chunk of time. One annoying thing about this boss is the hole that Ted's standing... The hole that Ted's going to right now is the only one that you can kill the Basilisk in. If it's popped out of anything else and it hits 0 HP, it will not die. It has to be that hole. So typically runners will go for a 3 cycle. They'll go to that hole, then another, then back. Liam went for a 2 cycle, which requires the double hits. As I was saying, or as I probably should have called them or something. That's time for TEDder. How about a trade?
How about a trade, Harry? He really wanted it. I was worried. It's an awkward jump angle. I got the 3 cycle though.
Final time is 53-27.
Oh yeah, did we get the incentive?
We did not. The Gryffindor challenge did not get met, but if someone wants to like throw in a super quick donation for it or something, if you look in before we're done with this marathon, I guess we can. I mean, since you guys are the last run, I mean, we can still do it if someone wants to throw a quick donation at it.
How much do we need?
25, I believe, or 24.
Oof, I don't know. I don't even want to do it because I didn't practice it. I don't know how. I'll just wing it.
Let's see here. If anyone wants to throw a quick donation at it or something, said, yeah, I mean, $30 to meet it, and we're at $6 for it. So.
Liam, you can unmute yourself now.
Hello, Harry. I don't want to hear any more rubbish about me.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I guess we can sit here for a little bit and talk to see if maybe give people time to like.
I'm in a weird state right now. There's a secret.
There's a secret? Oh man.
It really is, actually.
Yeah, there was an extra level that was going to be added into the game, and late in development, it was cut out.
That's what we were supposed to do, by the way, at Willow. Just wanted to show it off.
Alright. I gave it some time here. It does not look like we're going to get any extra donations in here. So, guys, thank you guys for so much for the run. Thank you to everyone here that came in and checked out the marathon.
We got Chunk, Harry.
Shout out to the pod.
Alright, I'm gonna jump into the moderators chat, but you guys are more than welcome to hang out while we do the closing.
You guys seeing this on my screen, by the way? Yeah, thank you so much for letting us do this silly ass run. Thanks, Scribber. Okay.
Sorry if I messed you guys up with my commentary a bit.
You did not mess us up.
Okay.
Right, there's my mic, and where's my
Fix,
desktop?
get reloads banned, and then we'll talk about Hundo.
Talk real quick. Okay. just
Oh,
double-checking
so
to see
now we're
if
censoring people,
we're
are
being
we?
picked up. All right, guys. Well,
So you can just never talk about it again.
well, another week is ended.
That's not
This
how
is
that works.
not the
RNG
place to
is
be
done.
having this discussion.
Well, thank
Yeah,
you
it is.
so
We
much
finished
for
the
checking
run.
out
Now we gotta talk
NoGA3.
about that.
Not our best, I feel like, but it definitely was better than the first one. If I would have to say so myself. But if you guys enjoyed, please make sure to check out the Discord with exclamation point Discord. Then you can keep up with updates on the marathon. But I do want to say that thank you guys so much for donations. Thank you guys for all the runners for coming out. Submitting your runs, taking time away from your, taking time away, from your daily lives, your daily streams to come out here and make this marathon a reality.
Yeah. I'm still trying to wake up, so I don't have much. So.
But I do want to point out real quick before we head out, there is yes glitches allowed, which is pretty much the opposite of this marathon. It's going to be kind of a thing for April Fools that we're going to do. Depending on how well that goes, we may or may not make that an annual thing. So if that's something you guys think would be kind of cool, to see like a glitched and a major glitched marathon, or something that's basically just like this April Fool's kind of thing that's like opposite of our marathon, then by all means, ask your friends, your friends of friends, your friends of friends of friends of friends, to submit to this if they have something. Because I would really like to see this happen. It's going to be happening from March 30th to April 1st. There's not too much to talk about. You got any closing words to say, Piku, yourself?
I don't believe so. Again, just thanks for all the donations. Left on 444 and 44.
Yeah, someone donated. The last donation we had was $6.44 to make it 444 and 44 cents.
I can live with that.
Yeah,
quite a good
we didn't quite make our goal, but at the same time, we didn't have very many people watching the stream, unfortunately, as much as we wanted to. But it is now time for us to find a raid target. So we have a few options here, from what I can see from my followed channels here. We can go watch Kios, go watch Trev Person. One's running Octopath, one's running Resident Evil 2. They're both great people to watch, so I highly first name I see in the chat, go. Well, that didn't work out very well, did it? Yeah, it's probably a little lag. Didn't think about that.
That's it.
I think most people are still asleep.
Probably.
They're probably all like, yeah, it's like 11:30. It's almost midnight. There's probably like no one awake still. All the people that were awake, they're all left now. They're like, oh man, the marathon's over. Get out of here. Let's get out of here. This is lame.
Everybody scatter.
This is lame.
I guess we could do kills.
Okay, we'll send you guys off to Kios. If there is anyone left alive or awake in the chat. This will be that will be the
our final tribute.
that will be our glitchless win. Sorry, let me. There we go. That is the raid message. All right.
Well, 2 people, huh? Yeah. But we're
Yeah.
just final.
Let's go.
For final time.